One of the seeds that started was a seed that arose out of tragedy that got me involved with Friends Outside, and that was a dear friend who was an activist in Santa Monica who was in a mental health crisis, and she ended up in civil brand and was charged with murder. And Dora said to me, well, I can see a lot of problems inside this facility. I know I'm going to be inside, but you could be helping outside. And so I started with I approached my college and I said, let's train some students and see if we can make things a little better. And we started what was called the Jail Visitation Project, which went from 1987, around the time Mary came on, to the year 2000. And it, among other things, produced our keynote speaker as one of the students. I will say this, that the students who went through my program learned about empathy. They learned to be non-judgmental. They learned to not go in with an agenda about proselytizing or trying to convert anyone, no missionaries on a mission. And don't assume anything about anybody about why they're there. They want to tell you that's their business, but everybody has a story. And your job is to listen and be empathetic and don't judge them. They have a world of people that are going to be judging them. You don't need to do that. So when I got a call from Mary late last year, my jaw dropped when I found out that Captain Garcia was working in basically ground zero of where things began with our classes. That's what I have to say. I also have to say how remarkable it is to see how Friends Outside has evolved and all of the seeds that have taken place and grown. I'm godsmacked by what I see here, and it's just all of the work that you're doing. It's remarkable. Thank you very much. And where's the captain?
All right. Hello, everybody. Bring this down a little bit. Thank you for everybody for coming out today and showing your support. I want to start off with a very simple thing. Growing up around here, I grew up in the Pico Union Echo Park area. I'm a product of LA Unified School District, Logan Elementary School, Thomas Starr King, and John Marshall High. I actually got to meet one of my heroes in Jackie Goldberg. And the coolest thing about meeting one of your heroes is that they're really cool. When they're not cool, it sucks. But to meet somebody who I've looked up to growing up as a kid here in Echo Park and seeing everything she's done for us, not only in the city, but the county and the state, is amazing. So thank you so much for everything you've done. So myself and my professor, Vivian, we haven't seen each other for probably about 30 years now. And it's been tough because I've wanted to reach out to him, especially when I knew this was going to happen here. But I wanted him to hear what I'm about to say for the first time here today and tell you how it all started for me. Like I said, being a product of the LA Unified School District, graduating high school, I didn't know what I wanted to do. And I enrolled at LA Valley College. I took a full course load and I decided I wanted to be a sociology major. So I started taking some classes, my general ed classes and a sociology class. And then I read about this directed study course in sociology, and it had to do with going to the LA County jails and visiting inmates. So I approached the professor and I asked him about the class, and we had a conversation. He told me about it, and I signed up, and it changed my life forever. We had a few meetings because it was a directed study course. We didn't have class every week. We had to go to the jails and visit folks. So the prerequisite for the course was to become a member of Friends Outside, a volunteer. So I drove to Pasadena and went to the office and got a little, back then it was a little brown ID, picture ID, said Friends Outside and you know, your picture on it. And then began my quest to go to the LA County Jail. So I'm here to tell you it's not the greatest place in the world to go to. They're not the nicest people in the world. Back then it was really rough. And I stood in line for hours. I paid for parking and stood in line and waited, only to find out the visit was only 15 minutes. The first time, I think I waited 3.5 hours for a 15-minute visit. And as I started going throughout the weeks and months to follow, I would report back to the professor and, you know, let him know what was going on. And we had to write a paper and all that good stuff. But I got to hear him a few times speak, and I got to hear about not only his passion and his activism, but it really ignited something in me to where I wanted to kind of be like him. And it was one of the first times in adult learning that I found somebody that I said, wow, what he's doing is cool. And this is different. This isn't just an ordinary class. And I think I was the youngest in the class. I was 18 at the time. By the time I got into this class. So, you know, hearing about the things that he had been doing and the things that he'd done in the past, like I said, started that fire with me. So I joined Mecha, and I was an activist in school, and I went to protest against grapes in Delano with United Farm Workers, and I went to protest against Walmart coming into the city and building, you know, a big Walmart. And it just started this whole thing. And it actually started me protesting against law enforcement. Yeah, go figure, right? So I started doing all this while I was in his course and visiting these men at Men's Central Jail and telling them, no, I can't give you stamps. No, I can't give you stamps. That was the big thing back then. But these were men that didn't have anybody, any family or anybody to come visit them. And so we would sit there, and whether we talk about the Dodgers or the Lakers or the Raiders or just what's going out in the street, we talked for 15 minutes. And week after week, I got to meet men who were just down on their luck. And they were sick and tired of being sick and tired, which is where I learned that from. And like the professor said, it taught me a lot about empathy. It taught me a lot about treating people with respect, treating everyone as they're a human being, your fellow brother and sister. And it was a great stepping stone. As time went on, I was 20 years old now, and I met 2 deputy sheriffs, and they saw me studying, and they were like, what are you doing? And I said, studying. It's the obvious. That was my attitude against them, because, again, they weren't the nicest people in the world. But they said, why don't you be a deputy? And I said, no, I'm a sociology major. And they're like, what do you want to do that for? And I said, well, I want to work with people. I like studying people, and I want to work with people. And they said, well, you could do that as a deputy, believe it or not. And they said, you know how much we make? I go, no. We make $30,000 a year. I thought, wow, $30,000? Are you kidding me? That's insane. That's big money. They're like, yep, that's all you got to do is apply, and you can be a deputy. And I don't know why I did, but I did, and I used the old rotary phone, and it was like 1-800-BE-A-STAR, and I got my Thomas guide out, and I made a Xerox copy, and I highlighted how to get to take the test, and I went and took the test, and it was hilarious because, again, not ever wanting to grow up to be in law enforcement. I grew up in the Rampart, borderline northeast area of LAPD, and it wasn't my thing. It wasn't, you know, something I wanted to do. But I did it. I applied, and I had long hair down to my waist, and I had braces, and they said, cut that hair and take those braces off, and you need to learn to assimilate, and you need to do this, and you need to do that. I cut my hair, I took my braces off, and I went to the academy. And I was that guy in the academy as to why. We do X, Y, and Z, and I was like, question recruit, why? Why do we do it that way? And the response I got is, because that's the way we've always done it, which didn't cut it for me. And I've been with the department now, this is my 30th year, and I still tell them, why do we do it that way? And the worst thing you can tell me now is, well, that's the way we've always done it. So it's been a great ride, and I want to say that the things that we, the folks at the Sheriff's Department, I work with some really good people. We work every day to weed out the bad ones, but the good ones that are there, and that's a large majority of the men and women wearing that uniform, are doing it for the right reasons. And some of the highlights in that have been making changes. I've worked everywhere in this county. I've patrolled everywhere from the San Gabriel Valley to Santa Clarita to South LA. I've done a lot of great things, exciting things. But when people ask me, what's your greatest career accomplishment? I have it, hands down, it's simple. And you might remember this. We did a project where we, unfortunately at the time, we had more than we should have in any time in custody, pregnant women. And that's something that's near and dear to me. I don't believe that a child should be born in a locked setting. And so we were able to put these women out with an ankle monitor, so it's safe, and we put them out in drug treatment centers, we put them out in halfway homes, but these are 50 children that were not born in a locked setting. These are 50 children that never have to tell the story that their mom was incarcerated at their birth. So that's my greatest career accomplishment, to be part of that as a team. And we've done a bunch of amazing things over the 30 years. We got rid of immigration, the ICE office in the county jail. We stopped turning them over to ICE. We stopped our midnight releases, where it's just not safe and wise to release people after midnight into downtown. So we stop our releases at 10 p.m. and we start them back up at 6 a.m. and we make sure that when we can coordinate a release or do a warm handoff or call a family member, it's what we do. But it's been a great 30 years. Every so often I figure that's enough and I got to figure out something to do, my next chapter in life. But I always go back to, why we do what we do. Thank you. Thank you for the seed, and thank you for the nurturing and the watering, and thank all of you friends outside for everything that you do. Enjoy the afternoon, and God bless.